views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Intercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Star-studded panel, as always. We've got Harry Glanz on the Zoom.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Harvey. How are you today?
Fantastic. And, of course, Becky Alley from the Downriver area. Hey, Becky.
Hey, everybody.
Look who you bring on, Becky. None other than most famous Michelle Saward, EXP Realty. Hey, Michelle.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for this morning.
Picking on her a
having
little.
Me here.
Oh, always, Michelle, picking on you because I was watching your videos as you were out in Cabo, whatever, with your training and your rallying, and you guys are figuring out real estate in today's ever-changing marketplace. And I know you brought a lot of information to share. We're going to take your calls, and if you want to talk to Michelle, 248-539-9797, 1 hour at the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Tiger Baseball coming up this afternoon, so keep you here on 97.1. And we got tons to share with you. Becky, boy, these interest rates still at all-time lows, which means more and more of these buyers and young people, the word is spreading like wildfire. Hey, guys, it's probably time to buy a house. And boy, Beck, there's nothing we can do to produce more inventory, and that's really been the problem.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you kind of look back in time, I mean, there's always the best time to buy a house was maybe 6 months ago. If you think about it, 6 months ago, the rates were just a little bit lower.
Millie!
You know, you're talking about it was winter months. And as the market kind of is, you know, naturally we're in that spring market where you're going to see a little bit more inventory hit the market just as a natural progression as the market trends. And I really want Michelle to jump in on this. You know, like you have those people that want to sit on the fence now and be like, oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until the market is not as crazy because I'm getting outbid. Well, guess what? 6 months ago was a really great time to buy a house where the rates are at, right? The rates are still good. And people that are now going to want to wait 6 months, they're going to look back 6 months from then and be like, dang, 6 months was a lot better then than it is now. What do you think, Michelle?
100%. 6 months, maybe even a year ago, which was the scariest time a year ago. Everyone was sort of like, do I even leave my house? But in hindsight, you're 100% correct. That was one of the best times to make a move. I have another friend in real estate. He basically said, hey, you know what? Everyone's afraid to go look at houses, but this is it. This is the opportunity, because right after that opportunity of, you know, we became essential workers again. And after being non-essential for 8 weeks, that non-essential period for real estate agents, which was like I think it was alleviated the first week of May, was one of the best opportunities. And it's interesting because during that time, up until 6 months ago, a year to 6 months ago, we were just trying to bang square pegs in round holes and let consumers know, hey, this is a great opportunity in front of you. But so many were just fearful to take action. And then since that point, the home values have just skyrocketed. And before we even, you know, started this call today, Harry and I were chatting about it's an illogical market, and these prices have just gone gangbusters. So, you know, when is it going to stop? We don't know. So there's also no really logic as to why it would even stop for this upward trending market. So if you didn't get on the bus 6 months to a year ago, there's still plenty of opportunity right now to make that happen. And yeah, the good news is it's certainly not as tight an inventory as it was going into the, you know, in the winter season. Really, it's a spring market. It's still very competitive. Make no mistake about it. I just sold the property in Livonia for $25,000 over list, and it was a $200,000 house. So It's still extremely competitive, but there's still opportunity out there because I don't see an end in sight to it, essentially.
Harry, you want to jump in on that one?
Yeah, there are certain things we know and there's certain things we don't know. There's certain things we don't know are, you know, when will more houses come on the market? When are prices of houses going to stop this irrational appreciation?
Right.
When these multiple offers are going to be coming in. We don't know when that's going to stop. What we do know is on the mortgage interest rate side, we do know that rates will not stay this low forever. We do know that because they are still extremely low. When you can get mortgage interest rates in the threes, it's just not going to be that way. So Michelle talked about it last year, March through May, very difficult, not only in the real estate market, but in the COVID market. Okay. Then on March 8th, when we got opened up through all of last year, things were opening up, but it was very difficult to go ahead and find a house. Now this year we roll right into 2021, and it's a little bit more irrational right now. So you have to be prepared, right, Michelle? You have to work with people. And this, we read your notes last night, and I took copious notes on your notes. You've got to be prepared, don't you?
That's okay.
Completely prepared for. There you're back. All right. You guys, you do have to be prepared in this market, on the buy side and then also on the real estate side. I know people think, oh, it's so easy to sell a house right now. Everything's popping like this. I have story after story about how important it is to work with an educated real estate agent, one that is more educated than what you can find as a consumer on the computer and doing any of your own research. One of the things that we're really finding quite interesting right now is that we're having better luck as real estate agents getting our clients top dollar pricing for the competition versus pricing for historical sales data. And what I mean by that is you can say, hey, you know what? I looked at the comps. I looked at historical data. I think this is what my house is worth. And then boom, you have a real estate agent come out and they say, no. We can get you so much more because of the lack of inventory. And then how do you strategically position yourself to win in those arenas? So yeah, you're going to get into that conversation where you might pay, quote unquote, a little bit more for a house. But as Becky mentioned and highlighted, these rates are so low. Is it really more in the long run when you're looking at the big picture? Probably not. Yeah. You're going to end up making it up in the long run.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also feel like, and I wanted you to touch on too, is, so we talk about the rates are still historically low, right? So, 6 months ago might've been a great time to buy a house, and right now is more important than it is 6 months from now, right? But then you also have these first time home buyers, like you just talked about. You have a Livonia $200,000 house that went $25,000 over asking. I mean, you have these first time home buyers that are competing with these established, repeat buyers. And in some of these situations, from the clients that I'm speaking to, we have to educate them, but we have to make sure that they're almost being priced out in some of these markets because of how these offers are just getting so accelerated at such a ridiculous rate at this point, just because people. I'm going to
say something bold right now about that.
Yeah, do it.
Cash is not king right now.
Yes, Michelle. Yes, thank you.
Okay, listen up, people with cash. You might not win. This is what I'm finding is that people who are getting mortgages and people who are doing financing and then bringing a little bit of cash above and beyond what it's going to appraise for are winning. I have a family friend and, he's like, oh, I'm going to go in cash. And I had to say to him, hey, look, you're probably not going to win because if you're going in all cash and you just want to go full price, someone's going to beat you because they're going to get financing to supplement the balance. And then they're going to have quite a lot of leverage left over to bring cash above and beyond what they're financing. And it is wholeheartedly worth it to a seller to wait 30 days instead of closing in 2 weeks. If they're going to get $25,000, $40,000 more, wholeheartedly worth it.
Well, there it is, Michelle Saward. She's going to be giving us all this great information. Keep it here at 97.1 The Ticket. We're going to take your calls from Michelle. Got Becky Alley on the line. Harry Glantz, myself, Harvey Freed. All mortgages and real estate. The real pros, they should be prepared to guide you through all these obstacles in the buying market today, potential obstacles. We'll share how to navigate it. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All righty, welcome back to the show, 9:15. You're just joining the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. That's where you can catch us all week long. A 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always send us an email, themortgage.show, or you can actually send us lots of emails. Just go to Capital Mortgage's page, and we'll call you right back and give you all that great information. Got Michelle Saward on from EXP Realty, and tons of information to share with you, and keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. The purchase market, boy, it's so competitive out there, Michelle. This year, the statistics are saying that over 75% of the the homes that are listed for sale are receiving multiple offers. And that is up from 44% last year. So again, competition is doubled. Now, Michelle, you mentioned early that potentially you're seeing more and more listings hitting the marketplace. So maybe more sellers are getting a little bit more comfortable. And again, maybe this new mask mandate, maybe that lightens up some of the other people out there.
Yeah. I mean, it is the new normal. The new normal is multiple offers. Just expect it going in. It should not be a surprise to anyone at this point in the game. Um, to work with a real estate agent that truly understands the depth of how to structure your deal and how to position you to a win. As I said, cash is not always king right now. That's just one example of how to win. And we're looking for in these offers, not just the strongest offer. We're looking for how it's outlined and how it's structured and how it's put together. It could be that you need extended occupancy, like really extended occupancy post closing. And sometimes that even comes free of charge. So that you have your cash out, you can move on to another one. Like you're building new construction. You don't have a real firm deadline on when that's going to be complete. It could be, like I said, appraisal guarantee. It could be escalation clauses. It could be a combination of all of these things. So it's really communicating as a seller with your agent. What is your story? Sometimes you've got to get vulnerable in selling your house and reveal more than you'd really like to actually get what you want and have those deliverables, show up in your inbox. So, just position.
Michelle, I like what you said. I think everybody going in, they know the game. They should expect multiple offers, correct?
Yeah.
Then by the same token, multiple offers lead to overbidding on a house. So by our token, by the same token that you're mentioning that, everybody should expect that appraisals are going to come in lower than the purchase price. So right now, over 50% of the appraisals that we're seeing are coming in under the purchase price. That's a byproduct of the overbidding, correct?
That's completely true. Yes. So that's why I'm saying expect it. And as a seller, this is also why we're having more success pricing it for the competition versus based on historical closed sales data, because that intangible is really boots on the ground experience, being in the market, realizing what buyers are saying, what they'll pay for a property. So people are, okay, how do you quantify it? Is it a 10%? Well, yeah, okay, maybe, because we've been seeing 10% appreciation per month since the beginning of the year, 9 point whatever percent, I'm rounding, but you get the idea. So maybe that's a component of it. But when you really look at the inventory for what's available, that is the intangible. And that's the conversation that we're hearing and we're picking up. And that's not something that you're going to find by doing your research on Zillow or Realtor.com.
Becky, you jumping in on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things why I love, when Michelle is, on with us on 97.1, because our listeners and our viewers are able to get this untapped experience that she's able to bring. I mean, she is not only an overly experienced listing agent, but she's also knows what she's doing on the buy side too. So when she's, going to advocate for her sellers, but then she also knows how to advocate for the buyers on the flip side. So she knows how to be that devil's advocate to know that, she's going to get those buyers' offers accepted. I mean, so I definitely want to hear from some of our listeners, because I know that they're out there. I know they've been really frustrated. I know they put in multiple offers, and I'm kind of curious to see like what their experiences are, what they feel should be a little bit better in the communication, because who you work with does matter. And I'm not saying that the agent that someone might have is, not the best out there. Obviously everyone is great, but sometimes there's that little bit of experience, that level that you can get from someone like Michelle that is just untapped. It's like you can only talk to so many people in a day. So that's why I think it's great to, when Michelle has this kind of platform to kind of just reach out and educate people, because it is wild out there. And, you can get priced out really fast, and people think, like Harvey was saying, you're not going to show up with a duffel bag full of money, right? Cash is not always king. Why would you want to deplete your savings account, your retirement account, when the rates are at historic lows? It doesn't make sense. Let the biggest asset that you have work for you and allow us to help you achieve those goals. Let the housing market work for you. Double digits month over month. When is the last time we have seen something like that in the nation? Tell me.
Love it. It's always great stuff out there.
Mhm.
248-539-9797. We'd love to hear
Yeah.
from you on that. It's so competitive out there, and you better get a professional. Becky doesn't want to say it, so I'll say it. Hardcore Harvey here will say it really
Mhm.
matters who you work with. I got on my desk the nastiest purchase agreement addendum about overbidding on a house I've ever seen. Thank you, Mr. Harry, for getting that appraisal flawed so we can somehow try to put a transaction together with. You can't buy a 350 house if everything else is selling for 275 to 300, folks. We'll talk more about it. 248-539-9797. Did I say it? It does matter. Let's go back to Michelle Saward. Michelle, no lack of inventory out there. There's no homes where I'm looking to live. And then we had that component where we could work at home and we could teach the kids at home. So the location and, talk about the needs and wants list. Some of the families, it's always been location at the top of that needs and wants list, right? Location.
Yeah.
Is that commute? If people said, you know what, gas prices went down
Mm.
during the pandemic, even if they're trickling up now with the oil problems and the stuff with the oil pipelines, but still, will people drive a little bit more because at the end of the day, they need that house. They're willing to maybe stretch their legs and get out of the city a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is love where you live market. And that's never been a higher priority for buyers. I love where you live. I just can't even emphasize it enough. Whatever that means for you, if it means a pool, if it means a separate office for working from home and a separate space for the kids to, get their schooling in, and people are willing to drive in if need be, because oftentimes people are down to like a physical in the office, maybe 3-day work week or 2-day work week. Like the flexibility with that is just insane right now. So yeah, it's even conversations that people are having of like, you know what, I'm just going to move. I'm going to move an hour away. And you know what? And if I end up getting called back to work, it doesn't matter. I'm going to find her another remote job. Like people are thinking that no biggie. I know for sure that I can work from home right now and I'll find another company that will allow that opportunity. But, I do think at some point that tide is going to turn because for business, just saying the people that are physically in the office are going to end up getting a lot of the opportunities.
What did that
So
call
I think at some point we will need to be back in the office.
248-539-9797. Got some calls coming in. Can we get any of those up yet? Or are we going to that one? John, all right. Hey, let's go out to John. John, I like your question, so I want to get out to you. Good morning, John. Welcome to our show. Michelle, that language on the addendum, that's what we're talking about today. How are you handling the appraisal guarantee? How does it specifically worded? Do you like to put, not to exceed X and Y? Give us a little bit of that language.
Yeah, so actually there's 2 ways to go about this. I appreciate you calling in and asking this question. It's really going to depend on the capacity and the threshold of the buyer. Ultimately, it's the buyer's money that we're spending. So you will get one shot. As Eminem says, do not miss your chance. Yeah. Opportunity knocks, right? So you're going to get one shot to structure it. So in some instances, buyers are much more comfortable putting a cap on that appraisal guarantee. Right. And in other instances, there's really no need for an appraisal guarantee. Like if you're putting, I'm just going to throw this out there, 50% down, it's almost as though your appraisal is empty and meaningless in that transaction. So, sometimes you're not putting a cap on that because, wouldn't it suck to miss out on a transaction because someone else offered an escalation clause in there that, buyer will pay $1,000 or $5,000 over highest, and you would have done that. So how do you really protect that they're quote unquote overpaying? Look, there's no promise or guarantees in that arena right now. I think you got to be over the age of 18, which means you're an adult when you're making an offer, and you just have to go into it advised about your options and explore in your scenario, in your financial situation, what's going to put you in the most comfortable winning position.
John, it's a good overall question. Appreciate the call. 248-539-9797. Becky, this again leads us to that language on the purchase agreement, that addendum. Get more professionals in your life. We're going to a break. We're going to share a little bit more information on how to get your offer accepted. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Always sunny out there. Let me get that feedback kicked back. There we go. Hey, we take your calls here live on the Hardcore Mortgage Show, 248-539-9797. Always, if you're buying a house, if you have some questions, get in here quickly. Michelle Saward, EXP Realty, has got a lot of information to share. Becky Alley is just an awesome mortgage person. When you're talking real estate questions, Becky can cover just about everything. And I'm not too shabby myself here to answer a few calls. Let's go out to these. How are you handling? We did that one. Let's go to Kevin out there. Good question, Kevin. Good morning and welcome to our show. You say a few questions about the overall buying process for a home. Kevin, have you been pre-approved yet? All right. Well, that's the first start right there. And Becky, I'll let you jump in here with it. Kevin, are you currently renting? Are you in a situation where you're ready to move and find one of these houses? And your lease is up and ready to go. Go ahead, Becky. Tell this guy how we got to get him set up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so obviously you can't, we advocate, you cannot start the conversation soon enough, right? So if you're currently renting and you're wanting to enter this very competitive buyer's market, the sooner you start educating as far as what is your budget, what is your price point, what is your comfort level for down payment. And then we can kind of go scale from there and get you in contact with someone like Michelle that's going to kind of take from there. You know, our job initially is to make sure that we have your budget, your payment, and the down payment all in one, knowing that you're going to have to enter into this competitive market, probably going over asking. So our job is to find what your max comfort level is and then kind of take it down from there, depending on where you got to go. So I guess I want to hear from you. What are your specific questions, considering you're very green? And I want our viewers, our listeners also to kind of hear, like, what are your expectations? What are your thoughts? What are your fears? And what are your goals overall? Well, no matter what, you have to qualify for the loans for starters. So right now, the minimum credit score criteria is a 600. So for you to even enter anything right now, just because there's still some COVID guidelines and overlays, the minimum score will be 600 for you to enter in any kind of mortgage program, and that would be an FHA specific buyer that would place you in.
That's, Becky, that's interesting. Kevin, I'm going to jump in here with this. Hey, Kev, one of the things is clients call us all the time. They say, hey, look, man, I can put down 20 or 40 or 50% on a house. I got all this money saved up, but my credit's horrible. Well, you're not getting, that person's not getting a mortgage. So the days of those type of loans are gone. The non-conforming loans, we don't see those anymore. And you want to position yourself, as Becky said, 600 or more, get you into the FHA market. There's even some lenders that'll do a 580 credit score with all sorts of extenuating circumstances like that large down payment. But Kev, as a first-time home buyer, we're going to call you off the air and give you more information that will really put you in the right direction by running your credit, doing all the important stuff, running your credit, seeing how much your income is, and trying to figure out how much you're going to qualify for and how comfortable you'll be with as a new homeowner. And Kevin, thanks for the call. We'll get you started right away. All right, good stuff. Mike out there, let's go to Mike. Mike, you have an offer. You're excited about it. What should I do next? Mike, tell us a little bit more. Good. Wow.
Right.
John Kolb, I'll let you jump in even, or, let's go to John Kolb and then Becky. It is scary.
No, Michelle too.
Hey, Mike, we never thought we'd hear a seller complain, but go ahead, John. Tell us a little bit about that answer.
Hey, Mike, it sounds like you got that gem that everybody wants. And, they have to make an offer that is going to be above and beyond everybody else's offer. So, like you said, why would someone do that? Well, they want to get into a house. This may be their first house. This may be a second house so that they can expand some room. Just get, do your due diligence, talk to your agent, and make sure that offer is something that can come to light, because like we talk about all the time on the podcast and on the radio show, that if you offer $700,000 on a house worth 500 and you're putting 5% down and you need a mortgage, then that offer is not real. So make sure that you run through the numbers backwards, forwards with your agent, with your lender, whomever else, your team of professionals. Call Becky, call Michelle, call Harvey, and make sure that you understand how this is going to work out in your favor and what's the worst case scenario that you could get from this specific offer. Right, Michelle?
Yeah. So I was going to say, I think Mike asked a very specific question. Why would a realtor put their buyer in a position to forfeit their inspection? And I will say this, I talk to agents in my organization all the time about this sort of things, is that you've got to really think about what the buyer is wanting and what the capacity is for the buyer. So it's not necessarily about why would the realtor put their buyer at risk, but rather what's the capacity of that buyer. You don't know the buyer's backstory. Maybe the guy's got some experience in the trades. Maybe they just see your house as such a peach that they're obviously not worried about it. And with multiple offers and going that over much over asking, it sounds like you've kept your home in a good enough condition that the buyer is willing to take on any potential risk with that. So it's, those are conversations that, agents will encourage their buyers to get a home inspection, but sometimes buyers dig in, they say, you know what, not necessary. It's not worth it for me to risk that opportunity. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think you're sitting pretty. I think you're in a really good spot. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wow.
There you go.
No.
Right. Yep. And so I don't think you will. You had multiple offers. If you don't want to go through the showings again, if that offer doesn't stick, then your real estate agent should be able to call some of those other offers that did not get accepted and say, hey, number 2 in line, are you interested? And you should be able to say, you know what, match offer number 1. This is what we had, and you got a deal. So there's some strategic moves that you can make in that arena.
I'm going to jump in just with a couple quickies here. Mike, of course, you'll reach out to your agent and make sure you're speaking to the lender that's involved. And as Michelle said in between one of our breaks, she goes, you know what, Harvey, the letter that says how bad those people want to move into your neighborhood and how you decorated the house, they love everything about you and they envision their family being there, that a beautiful picture of their bank account showing that they can make up the financial difference if they overbid $20 or $30 or $40,000 might be something a seller like you, Mike, would rather see, correct? Well, take some money.
I mean, it's
Tell them
like
the
this
hardcore truth right
conversation.
there. I mean, that's what it's about.
I get that picture of the financial statement that shows that they got the money to close on the house and make up the difference. It's a great call, Mike, and we'll follow up with you and see if we can help you maybe on a mortgage on your next house. Mike, you got a gold mine or something under the basement they didn't tell you about. You
I'm
never know where they
excited
come
for
from.
him. Yeah, I'm excited for you, Mike. Good, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks for the call. Good stuff.
Let me know. Let us know what you find.
Fantastic.
Jimmy Hoffa.
All right. Thank you. 248-539-9797. There could be a gold mine or maybe an old claim that you might want to make on your property out there somewhere in Southeast Michigan. But if not, definitely do the comparable sales analysis. Do all the smart things that your real estate agent will show you by figuring out what the neighborhood is selling for. Of course, Becky, we talk about it all the time. What are you willing to pay? If you've already been turned down by 4 or 6 or 7 or 8 offers, and we have clients that are here, they're like, you know what, they're going to throw the kitchen sink at the offer. And that's what Mike was saying. Why would an agent put you in that position? Because you just don't want to rent anymore.
Well, the bottom line is too that, as agents, they also they're advocating for their buyers. They can advise them, but at the end of the day, they have to write what the buyer wants. They can say, hey, I don't advise you to write this at purchase price because we're going to lose it. Well, guess what? If they're like, nope, this is what I want. Well, then guess what? They have to do what they are advocating. They are representing those buyers. So they have a duty to do that. Now, if the buyer has to lose 1 or 2 houses for them to really tap into the knowledge that their agent has to offer, well, then so be it. Right. So in Mike's, situation, it's obviously a lovely home. There's a lack of inventory. You probably got 1 house, 100 buyers clearly. And at the same time, like Michelle was tapping on earlier in the show, you have to love where you live. And there is no price point on something that you are absolutely in love with. You want it, and you got to go out there and you have to get it and stand out above everybody else.
11% increase in home appreciation last year. The year before that, I think it was close to double digits. Now, the Mortgage Bankers Association, the future Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, maybe talking about a slowdown in the appreciation next year. If it goes down to 5 or 6%, that's above national averages. So keep it here on 97.1. We got tons to share with you. Another 20 minutes or so. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show, 944. If you just joined us, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding in our 21st and a half year here on the radio. We're the originals. We're still bringing it. Boy, go back and listen to some old shows. It's like a map to what's going on in the real estate world. Get a lot of great advice by listening to the show and calling the professionals at Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. The best mortgage banker. We set you up with the greatest real estate agents like Michelle Saward, EXP Realty. Talk about people that have a hand on what's going on, the pulse of what's happening out there in real estate world. These are the folks that are in it to win it. They're doing it every day. It's such a difference. And I'll tell my panel, John Kolb and Becky Alley are joining us with Michelle. There's no doubt, guys, just to say yes. When you have a professional realtor, some of the people we've had on the show always, it's night and day. It's nothing like the other deals.
You cannot fake it till you make it in this market anymore. You cannot do it. You have to know what you're doing. You have to align all of your stars, your sun and your moon together in order to stand out. And you can't just, I found a house and work backwards. You have to be prepared. It's either prepare to fail or fail to prepare, whatever the word is. You have to be out there. You have to be ready, and who you work with matters. The sooner you start the conversation matters. And it's a different animal. It's kill or be killed right now. And Michelle made a comment about, money's money at the end of the day, right? Cash is not king. You have all these different vehicles that are going to get these buyers into these mortgages. You have conventional, you have FHA, you have VA, right? But there is a little bit of a stigma that is surrounding FHA financing and VA financing, but at the end of the day, money is money. So I kind of wanted to hear a little bit of why that could be out there.
So there's a couple reasons behind that, why FHA and VA are having a hard time right now. It's because we're looking for, as a real estate agent, you want to have like the pick of the litter in your multiple offer situations. So we're really looking at what's the down payment, what's the strength of the offer, what's the financial backing of the offer. And when you see a zero down or a minimum down, it just puts that question right in your mind of like, okay, what's really the capacity here? Mm-hmm. Not to say FHA and VA are not winning. Hey, I've had people that wrote VA offers and then they bring, they're financially extremely solid. People that have bought $400,000 houses because they've been in the military as a career. Like, it's not to say that they're not winning, but it does create cause and concern. We still have a lot of old mindset from some sellers that, FHA and VA is going to mean a lot of repairs. And why would they tolerate that when they can get an offer, as Mike, who called in and said, you know what, someone's going to do no inspection or an as-is sale. So it's important to note that FHA and VA have gotten a lot more lenient in what they're requiring for, necessary repairs in order to procure financing. But sellers are really just looking for strongest capacity buyer, strong quality in terms of financial backing. If you're a strong FHA or VA buyer, you know what? You might have to show a copy of your bank statement with your account number blacked out to substantiate, hey, look, I may be going this route because it makes sense after my divorce, or it makes sense because of my situation. I want to have the benefits that VA offers, but look, I can back it up financially, and then you're in a better position to win.
Great point, Michelle. That's like dipping in our toes in the mortgage side, debt to income ratio, right? You take a divorced couple out there. I'll say on the guy's side, he's paying a lot of child support and some alimony. His debt to income ratio is high. He needs to go FHA, but sure, he's got a couple $100,000 in the bank, and he can access that money, overbid on the house, and still make a transaction happen.
Show it.
248-539-9797. I want to bring John Colvin to the conversation a little bit here, John, about some new construction. We don't see it making up. There's just not enough new construction out there, John, to make it up. And of course, the prices for material, lumber, labor, they're driving up the cost. John, sort of segue the new construction, what's going on in that world. And then a lot of us are looking at cash out refinances to maybe just settle in and keep our house. There's nothing wrong with maybe pulling the $50,000 out and doing the addition on our own home.
Hey, I mean, new construction is tough right now. And, if you listen to the show previous to ours, they were talking a little bit about the cost of materials out there. So, with the cost of materials being what they're at, these contractors are only putting their quotes together that the cost of the materials is only good for 24 hours because the lumber is increasing and increasing and increasing. So, you got to really get yourself into a position where exactly what you're going to be doing with new construction, how much it's going to cost you, what the cost of the labor is going to be, lock that in. And then also make sure that you are understanding that what the delta, once again, Becky, love when I use that word,
Delta.
what it's going to
Plug
be
it in there.
what it's going to be with the cost, so know that the cost of the new build could go up, might go up, will go up before you close. So, I mean, there's so many other factors in new builds that I'm a fan of just trying to go out there and, fight through the crowd to get that perfect existing home with someone like Michelle.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of new construction superintendents this week. Of course, the story is materials, labor, and of course, lumber. It's those three things that are really killing them. The average price of the house, what it was last year, well, the guy gave me a number on that. I think this house was about $500,000, so it was about 500. He said, Harvey, that lumber package today is about $47,000 more, almost double on the lumber packages just within 1 year. So button down again, get those contracts signed. If you're looking at new construction, get it signed. And then maybe when the house is done next year, the homes will continue to appreciate and you won't get stuck overpaying for the house. So that's just how to buy in today's market. A lot of times it's all about timing, and timing is always key. 248-539-9797. Hey, let me ask, I wrote this down, Michelle. Hey, Michelle, with, again, there's so much competition out there. There's a lot of buyers. There's a lack of house. Why are you guys recruiting so many new people into your industry? Do you mind me asking?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I mean, this is one of the most unique situations in real estate where people are, they were on job layoffs for maybe a little while, or they're now working from home and this isn't working. And people are having some opportunity to really explore what is it that they want to do and how they want this to go. And, and when they're seeing that this real estate market is just exploding, I mean, gosh, the prices have gone up so much that real estate agents might not have necessarily even had to sell more units just to make more income. So, I think the industry is just shifting overall. All jobs are shifting overall. People that were in service industries are looking at this is a possible good service industry where it could be a real moneymaker. So,
all right, let's go to a call real quick here. This is a real estate call for you coming up, Michelle. Hey, Pat, thanks for staying on the line. I think we had you there for a little bit. Good morning. Welcome to our show. Go ahead with your question. Sorry to hear that. Right. You're going to list it. All right.
mhm.
You don't need to. Troy's selling for, it's crazy what's going on there. But I'll let Michelle dump in. Yeah. Are you in the Troy? Yeah, I'm going to let Michelle answer that. Hey, real quick question, though. Are you in Troy Athens or Troy High School district? Troy, oh boy.
All right.
Michelle, just so you know, he's got the golden ticket there. Okay, Willy Wonka. Oh boy. Yeah, you're sitting on a gold mine there, Michelle.
That's awesome.
Who should he hire other than the person I tell him to hire? Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah. You know what, Pat? These are really good questions that you're asking. And I would start with maybe doing some research on reviews of real estate agents online. So just start with looking at some of those reviews. I know, I'm like, just hire me. No, I'm not going to say that. I actually think you should interview a couple real estate agents for the job. Because they're going to have some very different approaches to driving traffic and to getting you those multiple offer situations. So, I mean, personally, I don't think it's wise if you list with someone who says, oh yeah, we can sell it in a day. I actually think you should vet it out and let it run for at least a long weekend to get maximum opportunity through that door. And Pat, I'm going to give you some really good news. You're probably not going to need to stage that house. You're probably not going to need to do the repairs that you're thinking because your parents have been in that home for a long time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're probably
Location is
not
king.
going to need to do those things. And if you're looking for some recommendations of agents in the Troy market, that's not my area of expertise, but I'm happy to point you in the right direction. I have many colleagues that sell in that area, but I definitely think you should interview a few of them. I think you should talk about marketing strategy with them, about driving maximum traffic, because traffic is key. The greater number of buyers through the door, the greater the opportunities for multiple offers. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah. You're going to get a good. Go ahead, Michelle.
there's many ways to skin a cat. They're gonna be looking at it from several different angles. And if you're gonna find an average number, I would say go with that after talking to a couple real estate agents. Find the average.
Pat, we're going to have Michelle give you a call after the show, and we'll get you some other great people, and we'll get you all set up, man. Like I said, a lot of good selling opportunities out there. Thanks for the call, Pat. We appreciate it. Again, sorry to hear that his parents had passed, but death, divorce, these are reasons why homes might come on the marketplace and our inventory could increase. Hey, guys, that's it for the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Want to thank everyone for listening and calling in, and John Cole for joining us a little late. The great John Cole, there he is. All right, John, it looks like you're not even up north for a change. So, all right, he's here locally. And, of course, the great Becky Alley. Becky, we'll catch you in the office this week. And thanks for bringing Michelle on. Hey, Michelle, Saward, EXP Realty. Always great to have you on. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
All right, we can always we'll get her hooked up with all the buyers and sellers that called in today. If you want to get a mortgage or you need real estate help, call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We'll hook you up with the right people. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports, social commentary. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket.